government this week published an independent report into the voluntary right to buy. Now, you may remember the voluntary right to buy was promised by the Conservative Party manifesto in 2015. David Cameron offered a promise to introduce the right to buy to housing associations so that tenants could buy housing association homes. After lots of discussion, the government launched a pilot about it in August 2018 across the Midlands. That was funded by £200 million of government money. And this report is the review into that pilot in terms of how successfully it's worked. The current government's manifesto commitment is to review that pilot and then look at extending that pilot to other areas. So that may mean it comes to our area and may affect CHS. I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. But what does the review of the pilot say? It says that replacing social housing sold through the scheme on a one-for-one basis, which was the government's original commitment, every home sold would be replaced with another one, that's going to be really challenging based on the pilot. The replacement homes will on average be smaller, at higher rents, and more likely to be for shared ownership. So it's pretty clear from the pilot that homes will not be able to be replaced like for like on a one-for-one basis. In terms of the replacement homes, only 27% of those will be at social rent, which the homes sold were all at. 37% would like to be at the much more expensive affordable rent. 16% will be replacement homes purchased on the open market, so not new build homes. And about 10% would be for shared ownership. That still leaves a gap, and that gap is housing associations who didn't think they'd be able to replace the homes at all. Where homes were being replaced, the pilot found that some of them would be replaced in other parts of the country where it was cheaper to provide them. And that's because there's a big financial gap between the cost of building a new home and the money received from selling the home and the discount payment received from the government. What that means is that 40% of the housing associations involved in the pilot said they would have to put in their own money to fund replacement homes. It wouldn't be self-sustaining. And the remaining 60% thought they either wouldn't be able to replace the homes or that they'd have to reduce their development programmes in order to replace the homes out of that money. One of the big issues for CHS is portability, because many of our homes in rural villages are subject to restrictions which mean they can't be sold to tenants. So what happened in the pilot there was that tenants were supposed to be offered the chance to buy another home from the housing association. That would present real problems for us because we have so many homes that are restricted by these local connection, local village requirements. It would be difficult for us to find alternative homes that we could sell. But the pilot showed that, this is called portability, and the pilot showed that that wasn't really working. About 20% of homes across the pilot area were excluded from being able to be bought. But only 12% of people who were offered portability as an option actually proceeded. That's a much lower percentage than in the rest of the programme. So it basically shows the difficulty of making that work. So what does all of that mean for CHS? Well, we don't know what the government's response to that pilot will be, and although recent announcements show they're very strongly interested in shared ownership, it's not clear whether they can find a way to make this work. The pilot was backed by government funding, so if the government wanted to roll that out nationally, they'd have to provide a lot more funding for it. And the problems remain that we won't be able to replace the homes that we sell, almost certainly not in the same village. So whether we can find replacement homes, where they would be, we don't know. We have enough problem trying to build new affordable housing as it is without adding to that burden at the moment. And if we do provide those replacement homes, they're going to be at significantly higher rents than the ones we've sold. So overall, although that would give some tenants a chance to buy a home that they don't currently have, in terms of the overall public good of the affordable housing we're able to offer, that would reduce and that would be a distinct disadvantage.